Today I'm going back into my files and pulling out a deck that I've been working on for the last 6 months, and it's going to have us break up Piggy Bank here because this is VIHAAN'S Piggy Bank using the commander that was the second one in the most wanted precon. Now, it was originally meant for that precon to be the Outlaws precon, but I have said before that the two commanders that come with that deck are not outlaw commanders. They're more treasure commanders. So that's what we're going to do, is build this deck as a treasure-centric deck instead of an outlaw-centric, and see what we can do with VIHAAN Goldwaker. So let's get into it now. For those that don't know what he is, VIHAAN Goldwaker is a 3/3 dwarf warlock for a red, a white, and a black that says other outlaws you control have vigilance and haste. And it says at the beginning of combat on your turn, you can have treasures you control become 3/3 construct assassin artifact creatures in addition to their other types until end of turn. So at the most basic, this deck wants you to make a bunch of treasure tokens so that VIHAAN can animate them into outlaws, granting them the vigilance and haste part. And the vigilance here is key, since any of them that survive combat can be then used to tap and cast spells after combat. So let's take a look at the array of treasure makers I filled up this piggy bank with. Many of them that come in the most wanted precon itself, as well as the Thunder Junction main set, but then we also have some other cards sprinkled in that are just really good. So let's kick us off with the treasures that are made by creatures, starting with Breach's Eager Pillager, Generous Plunderer, Impulsive Pilferer, Jan Jansen Chaos Crafter, Lotho Corrupt Sheriff, Magda the Horde Master, Mahadi Emporium Master, Mari the Killing Quill, Misfortune Teller, Pitiless Plunderer, Professional Facebreaker, Ruthless Knave, and Goldspan Dragon. Of these, I just kind of wanted to point out a handful that can do some silly stuff with our animated treasure tokens, and they're just really good in the deck. First up is Mahadi Emporium Master. Straight up just replaces any treasures that might die in combat and even used in mana after in the second main phase, since they count as a creature dying for his trigger. The Pitiless Plunder does the same thing, just immediately upon that treasure getting destroyed or used, it replaces itself, as long as it's been animated by VIHAAN. Ruthless Knave and Jan Jansen Chaos Crafter can actually double up our treasures by letting VIHAAN animate them and then sacrifice them using their abilities to create 2 replacement treasure tokens. So if you sacrifice a construct assassin treasure to one of them, you get 2 treasures in return. So that's a pretty good way to build up your treasures. We also have a couple creatures that don't make treasures, but actually care about them anyhow, and work well with this deck in Zorn and Academy Manufactor. The Zorn gives us the additional treasure each time we make one or more of them, and the Manufactor will actually give us clue and food tokens to go along with each treasure that we make along the way, giving us a way to pad our life total as well as draw cards as the game moves along. Then next up we have our non-creature treasure generators such as Collector's Vault, Currency Converter, Horde Hauler, Luxurious Locomotive, Treasure Map, the Reaver Cleaver, Black Market Connections, Life Insurance, Pirates Pillage, Prosperous Partnership, Reign of Riches, Smuggler's Share, Spiteful Banditry, Big Score, Bottle Cap Blast, Deadly Dispute, Blood Money, Brass's Bounty, Covetous Elegy, Seize the Spotlight, and Visions of Ruin. Each of these spells can either make treasures, but also have other effects attached to them, like with the creatures. I kind of wanted to point out a handful that have special purposes in the deck, starting off with Prosperous Partnership. I didn't even know this card existed until I started to assemble the deck, and it's really good here since we can animate the tokens. They don't tap to attack, and then you can tap 3 of them to make another treasure with the partnership. This makes every 3 treasures that you have animated into a possible additional attacker the following turn. Collector's Vault and Currency Converter have a little bit of a synergistic combo together. You can use the Vault to draw and discard a card, make a treasure, which then gets exiled by the Converter, and then you can use the Converter to put that card into your graveyard, of which, if there are any lands in that get put in there, you get another treasure, and any non-lands give you another outlaw for VIHAAN to grant haste and vigilance. So it might be good to use them before combat to get the extra attackers in. I'm also going to include a small package that's all about pumping up our treasure tokens. So we're going to use Invasion of Tolvada, Inspiring Leader, Intangible Virtue, Tempered Steel, Sentinel Alliance, Scorpic Lord, Caretaker's Talent, Engrass Marados, Arno Dorian, and Bayek of Siwa. The Invasion of Tolvada can actually get us back a non-battle permanent and then be attacked to grant our animated treasures +1/+0 and lifelink, because they are tokens that have been animated, making them into token creatures. Same deal with Inspiring Leader and Intangible Virtue. All those animated treasures are token creatures, so gaining the pump abilities off of these Anthem style effects. Tempered Steel kind of acts as a way to boost our animated treasures because they are also artifact creatures when brought to life. Sentinel Alliance acts like a second version of Tempered Steel, it's just on the condition that we bring down an artifact before combat, which shouldn't be that all difficult in this deck. The Scorpic Lord not only pumps our artifact creatures, but also gives them menace, making them even harder to deal with as they come swarming in. Angrass Marauders, while not a pump specific to these treasure token creatures, is going to get slotted in this category since it acts in a manner similar to what we're looking for, as well as boosting any other ancillary damage that we might be dishing out. And then Assassin's Creed actually brought us a pair of perfect assassins to slot into this deck with Arno Dorian and Bayek of Siwa. Arno is just a straightforward +2/+0 to our animated treasures since they are assassins, and Bayek actually gives them double strike since they are all artifacts and count as historic creatures. Any way you can do it, getting one of these down will increase the pressure on our opponents, and it can even end a game in a final push. The last package for the deck is going to be a small Aristocrats package because these animated treasures come with a built-in sacrifice engine, allowing us to take advantage of death triggers a little more easily. And not only are we going to be packing a few of these things to benefit us for these death triggers, we're going to be adding some ETBs for all these treasures coming in as well. And that's Agent of the Iron Throne, Cruel Celebrant, Zulaport Cutthroat, Ingenious Artillerist, Reckless Fireweaver, and Hedron Detonator. The Agent, the Celebrant, and the Cutthroat will just drain our opponents every time we lose a creature, or in the case of the animated treasures, we're going to be sacrificing them post-combat or if they die in combat, making the combat math harder for your opponents because then they have to account for the ability to simply just sacrifice all your treasure creatures to finish them off after combat. And then the second part of this is the ETB part with the Artillerist, the Fireweaver, and the Detonator. Every time we make a treasure, it's going to ping our opponent's life totals down each time they come into play, and the Detonator even allows us to sack 2 artifacts and tap it to get impulse draws, giving it a little more versatility. And I didn't even know about the card until I started putting the deck together. All in all, I love how this came out, except for a few cards that I would love to include, but they are very cost prohibitive. But I'll talk about them anyhow, just in case you want to go all in and drop the cash on them. And those cards are Smothering Tithe, Ancient Copper Dragon, and Anointed Procession. These are just more than I want to spend in this deck because, seriously, Wizards, can we get a reprint of Ancient Copper Dragon? The damn thing's $75 right now. Or in the case of Smothering Tithe, it just creates a babysitting headache that I've come to dislike during games of Commander. I have to constantly remind my opponents of the tax, and it's just annoying to deal with most of the time. With that said, what do you guys think of the deck? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, please like, share, comment, subscribe. All those things help the channel grow. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.